We're gonna interview Aiden today. Aiden, what is your view on hunting?
My view on hunting that it's a good recreational activity for people to do to get good fresh meat.
Nice. If you could take hunting out of this world, would you, for people's needs and stuff?
No, I would not.
No. What sacrifices have you made to be successful on your hunting?
Waking up early in the morning and getting really wet.
That's a big one. What do you consider the dangers of hunting are when you're out in the forest and stuff?
Maybe going in unsafe places where there's lots of snags or something,
Right.
and other predators like bears or something sneaking up on you.
Right. So why do you like or dislike hunting?
I like hunting because it's a good way for people to go out and get good meat that's not tampered with like some of the stuff you buy at the store.
Exactly. All right, thank you so much. Hello, Mr. Shields. We're gonna do a short interview with you today, and I wanted to ask you a couple questions. What is your view on hunting?
My view on hunting. Well, my view here in 2016 is very different than it was a number of years ago. Growing up in Kamloops, I knew a few people that hunted, but I never had a chance to go and do any hunting myself, so I kind of knew about it through movies and TV.
Right.
I had a sense that hunting was a thing that friends got together to do that involved an extraordinary amount of beer drinking out in the forest, sometimes just setting things up and shooting them, and I didn't think that much of hunters or hunting when I was younger. I moved here to Campbell River, being in a place where there's many more hunters and getting to know some of them personally. I was really surprised how wrong I was about the culture of that really is hunting. Some guys, of course, still buy lots of awesome hunting gear and never really do anything with it, but just hang out in their tent site and just drink beer. But the hunters that I know that actually go out into the woods are probably the most responsible and most in touch with the land, environmentalist-oriented people that I know.
Okay. If you could take hunting out of this world, would you?
Oh no. Hunting is a really important part of culture. I think the rites of passage that it provides dads, uncles, aunts, grandmothers to give to the next generation are very, very important. I think there's very few things left in our Canadian culture that are as simple and as important for a young person to go through to be able to show that you're a man now or you're a woman now. It's very important to have those rites of passage, and hunting I see first and foremost like that. Going out into the woods to try and get your own game, yes, I can see the ethics around it, but I like the idea of the quiet and the focus. Those are the things that I'm always admired the most about hunting. It's about settling your mind, being aware where things are. That quiet, that settling, that focus are very important things in our culture that we don't do near enough of. Instead, teens want to game out and have flashy lights and distraction. To still have ways for them to be quiet enough to hear a small branch break, like that to me is an important thing we need to keep in our culture.
Awesome. So what do you consider the dangers of hunting are?
The dangers of hunting. I think the first danger I would say is putting a gun in anybody's hand who isn't able to be settled, able to be focused, able to be detached and calm is very dangerous. It's very possible that someone who has a rifle in their hand might make snap decisions that would result in either another person being injured or an animal being shot in a way that's inappropriate. There are people who don't spend enough time preparing themselves to hunt, and they nervously fire at animals, wing them, and then they wander around in the bush for the next hour or two, and they don't even track them to find them to end their lives humanely and then use the meat. They just wing them. The other danger is the trophy side of hunting, that people go out with friends and they want an evidence of that they're so awesome more than they want the food. And once those things get tipped over, that's a great danger. I will never really think of hunting as a sport. I think of hunting as a way of life. I think of hunting as a way of focusing, an important thing for families to do together, but I don't think of it as a sport. I think that's really dangerous, because the minute it's a sport, then you actually think it's something you win at. And then I win by having evidence like the top of an animal's head, and I don't even think about the fact that it should be my responsibility to get that meat out and share that with family, share that with friends. I'm not just going to leave it there because it's too heavy, and I'm just going to strap the head on the back of my quad and drive out ruining the forest.
Yeah.
That's to me the concern.
Yeah. So we kind of went over this, but why do you like or dislike hunting?
I like hunting because I think it brings families together in a way that I think is great. I like hunting because it develops a sense of focus for a time of the year for a family to work together to go and do something that I think is great. I dislike hunting because sometimes that sports side of things gets celebrated. Collecting the heads of things is not something I think is very noble. I don't think that's something that I would feel was something to be really very proud of, and it's just not something I admire. I know people that have skinned and kept the skins of the animals, but then they've also used the things that the animal also has, its meat, its fat, its other things like that I can see a balance in. I mean, I like the idea that you can show to your family and friends that you've had success, but not that that's all you took. You know, just the head, just the skin, left the animal there. I wouldn't think that was a very responsible way to behave.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.